This is cross number puzzle 26 from book 2. This puzzle is suitable for many students midway through grade 2. This puzzle is not suitable for all students that are in their grade 2 year. It's very important that teachers match the puzzle to the student rather than the other way around. If students find difficulty with a number of the questions in this puzzle, they should be directed to an earlier puzzle in book 2 or even in book 1. If they find the questions in this puzzle not challenging enough, they can be directed to book 3. In the series, there's a puzzle to match every child. If you look at the puzzle, you see we have the grid. We also have across questions and we have down questions. Different from normal crossword puzzles, it's recommended that children do the across questions first and then the down questions. Note there's a wide variety of types of questions in the puzzle. Question A, 29 plus 5, involves counting forward over the decade. The answer is 34. We put the 3 in the first box and the 4 in the second. The next question, C, involves a pattern. The numbers in the pattern are going up by 2. The answer is 21. We put the 2 in the first box and the 1 in the second. Question E involves a 3-digit number. Each of the digits in the numbers are the same, 2, 8, and 9. Students have to recognize that the least number will have the 8 in the hundreds position and the 2 in the tens position. They then place 829 in the 3 boxes for E. If you look at question G, it says a number between 40 and 50. Note that question does not have a unique solution. Children are told to circle the G and to go to the next question. Question H involves the 3 numbers 5, 4, and 5. In earlier puzzles, students looked at pairs that added to 10. They note that 5 and 5 adds to 10. Also in earlier puzzles, they looked at questions like 10 and 4, giving 14, the answer to H, 14. Question K involves skip counting by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Question L involves counting backwards over the decade. The answer, 49. Question M involves skip counting by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 43. P, another question the students cannot answer. R, a number that is one more than 234, the answer, 235. Now we come to U and V. Note that those questions are connected. If you look at the puzzle, you will note that there are 3 connectors in the puzzle, and indeed there are 3 connectors in every puzzle. The connectors are placed so that children note the relationship between the questions that are connected. For example, in U, we've got blocks. We've got 45 blocks. Question in V involves having those 45 blocks and taking away 10 and another 10. (45 minus 10 is considerably more difficult for students than 40 minus 10 minus 10. A question like 40 minus 10 minus 10 was introduced in earlier puzzles. Also, subtracting tens is more difficult for students than adding tens to numbers like 40 and 45 were also introduced in earlier puzzles. We now come to the down questions. Question in A involves the number of dots in an array. Arrays are excellent models to support the concept of multiplication. In question A, we have a row of 5 dots, and we actually have 6 rows of 5 dots. 6 rows of 5 dots give us 30. 3 is already filled in, so we fill in the 0 in the second square. Question B involves skip counting by 2s. Skip counting by 2s starting at 2 was introduced in earlier puzzles. Now we're beginning skip counting by 2 starting at the number 22, and the question is modeled by the empty number line. 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Question D involves a basic addition fact. The basic addition facts and strategies for basic addition facts are looked at in Puzzle Book 2. A question like D has been introduced in earlier puzzles. Students can either answer that question thinking of the strategy of a near double, that 8 and 8 is 16, so 8 and 9 is 17, or they can think of it in terms of the greedy 9 strategy, that 9 wants to be a 10, takes 1 from the 8, so that we have the number 7 and 10 giving us 17. Question E is a very important question for children to be able to answer. It involves counting backwards over the decade. Children often find this a more difficult outcome. It's a very important one, and it's important that children are able to do it. The answer to E, 86. Question F, an odd number. That has already been answered, and if you check the puzzle, the answer is 91. Question G and J are connected. They involve 3-digit numbers looking at hundreds, tens, and ones. Question G, we have 4 in the hundredths place, 4 in the tens place, plus 4 ones. Question J, we have 4 in the hundredths place, 4 in the tens place, and we put the 0 in the ones place. N has already been answered. P, another basic addition fact. We could use the greedy 9 strategy for that. 9 wants to be a 10 and takes 1 from the 6, making 5, so we have 15. Q and S are also connected. Q involves a 10 frame showing a number 34. S involves taking the 4 from the 34. It's important that students recognize 34 as a 30 and a 4. When they take away 4, they're left with 30. Questions like 30 plus 4 were introduced in earlier puzzles. T, another basic addition fact involving a near double. As I mentioned, the puzzles are cumulative. The puzzles are grouped in 5, and every 5 puzzles, the outcomes change. Cross number puzzle 26 is the first in the group of puzzles from 26 to 30. Beside puzzle 26, we have an overview. The overview explains exactly the outcomes involved with each question in the puzzle. Cross number puzzle 26 is the first puzzle in the group of puzzles from 26 to 30. Puzzle 30 involves the same outcomes as puzzle 26. In the middle of the resource, we have a number of outcome sheets for every 5th puzzle. This is the outcome sheet for cross number puzzle 30. Beside each question is listed the number, concept, strategy, and skill that question involves. After one has corrected the puzzles, if there are any errors it's very easy to identify what number concept, strategy, and or skill was done incorrectly. This is the answer to cross number puzzle 26. You can see it's very easy to mark. One just has to refer to the grid and see if the questions have been filled in correctly. If there are any questions that students had difficulty completing, you can refer them to the appropriate game in the games portion of the puzzles. This will give them more practice with that particular number concept, strategy, and or skill.